Just hours ago, the White House announced that U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will travel to Hawaii and amid mounting pressure and criticism due to the slow pace of the federal government's disaster response. And earlier, former U.S. President Donald Trump slammed Biden over his viral no-comment remarks to the deadly wildfires in Hawaii. Jillian Libuit reports.
U.S. President Joe Biden sparked fury among netizens and political rivals after refusing to comment about the rising death count nor making any plans to visit the devastated families affected by the deadly wildfires in the Hawaiian island of Maui. After spending a couple of hours at a beach in Delaware this past weekend, Biden was asked by a White House correspondent about the rising death toll in Hawaii, to which he replied no comment before heading home. The comment sparked anger among netizens and political rivals, including his predecessor and former U.S. President Donald Trump, as critics questioned why he was vacationing while deadly fires burned Maui to ashes.
When asked about it today, as he was getting into a car, perhaps coming home from the beach, where he has been spending a great deal of time, crooked Joe Biden, the most incompetent president in the history of our country, with a laugh and a smile, said he had no comment on the death and the tragedy. To say no comment is oftentimes fine, but to be smiling when you say it, especially against such a tragedy as this, is absolutely horrible and unacceptable.
Former Hawaii State Rep Mark Kaniela-Ing, a Democrat who now serves as National Director of the Green New Deal Network and campaigned for Biden during the elections, also expressed his shock over the U.S. president's response in a now-deleted post and described the remark as out of character in a separate interview. As the death toll reached more than 100, survivors are facing threats from looters stealing residents at gunpoint in the middle of the night, as well as real estate scammers trying to take advantage of the situation. The U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency warned that identifying the victims of the devastating wildfires will be very difficult because many of the remains have been badly damaged. Meanwhile, the Biden administration faced new criticisms earlier this week after offering victims $700 per household in emergency aid, but announced a $200 million military aid for Ukraine at a time when residents in Maui struggle to rebuild their lives and recover from the loss of their possessions and loved ones. Critics described the sum as insulting and compared it with the more than $113 billion worth of aid the U.S. has sent to Ukraine. In response to the criticisms, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Biden has interacted with the Federal Emergency Management Agency and said the president is deeply concerned about the situation. In a speech in Milwaukee on Tuesday, Biden vowed to travel to Maui soon without specifying any date and said he didn't want to disrupt the ongoing recovery efforts after receiving a massive backlash for his latest response to the devastating wildfire. The remarks were Biden's first public comment since he delivered a pre-scheduled speech to address the devastation on Thursday of last week. Reporting from New South Wales, this has been Jillian Libuit, SMNI News, Australia.